Hello, it's Emma from Blue Sky Vitality, the Body Love Coach. And if you haven't met me before or you don't know a lot about me, I am a personal trainer, I'm a health coach, I am a yoga teacher and a Reiki practitioner, and I help to empower women to feel amazing about themselves and their bodies right now, not when they've lost 5 kilos, but right now. And today I wanted to have a chat to you about what to do if you're not quite getting to where you hope to be with your goals. Because often at this time of the year, we've kind of set ourselves some big, huge, amazing goals to get through the year. And perhaps at this point you're thinking, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be able to. Something's gone wrong. Or so often we put, a line in the sand and say, this is the year I'm not going to eat sugar, or this is the year I'm not going to put on any weight, or this is the year that I am going to go to the gym every day. And often that can really set us up for a little bit of failure, to be completely honest. And then we sort of fall into patterns of feeling that we're always lazy and we always lack willpower and there's something wrong with us. Whereas it's not that there's something wrong with you or me, if that's the case, but perhaps there's something a little bit wrong with the way you've set your goal. So I do want to talk about goal setting today and just how you can get through the rest of this year, because it's such an early stage of the year, smashing goals and feeling really good about yourself for the whole year long. So before I get into that, I wanted to sort of talk to you a bit about something that's not quite related to health and fitness, although it is, because we're going to talk about my business. And I wanted to sort of use it as a little bit of a metaphor of how you get to where you want to be and how it doesn't all happen, in a second. So back in 2012, I was still living in Sydney and I was working in a corporate role. I was a national business manager running quite a large business. And the truth was I was lonely, I was sad, I was unwell, I was stressed, and I was, generally unhappy. And so it came from a pain point, I was feeling pain in my life that made me decide that I wanted to change. And for lots of us, that's why we make decisions to do different things for our health and fitness or change our lives, because, we're feeling pain. It's usually from a pain point that we decide to make these changes. So back then I decided I needed to make a change and finally came across something that I loved, which was outdoor boxing classes, and decided to become a personal trainer. So it took me 6 months to kind of wind up my life in Sydney, and then I moved here to Albany in Western Australia. And in the first year that I was here, so 2013, I studied to be a health coach. So it was a 12-month certification. And in that 12-month period, I really felt that I wanted to help women lose weight and, eat perfect food all the time. I was kind of really sucked into all of my training. And that's where I was in 2013. And then 2014, I added on my personal training. So I started to study personal training and I started to do my classes. And I also started to have personal training one-on-one clients, and I added that into my health coaching. So those first 2 years was a huge amount of change. I was setting up my Facebook page and I was sending out email newsletters for the first time and I was writing blog posts. So everything was different. My whole life felt different. And so I was constantly challenging myself, but also felt really inspired because I was, doing things that felt good and different and new. So that was 2014. 2015, I studied yoga and started to add yoga into my repertoire of services. And I started to get really nervous for a while because I can't do back bends. I don't do headstands. And I started to think, oh my gosh, are people going to think, am I a real, yoga teacher? But I am. I just have my own style. So that was 2015. And then 2016, I did my Reiki Practitioner 1 course and added that because I became really, I started to understand how important the energy body is as well as the physical body. And I knew with the women that I work with that would be really powerful information. And then finally last year in 2017, I kind of morphed into the Body Love Coach, and that was through some personal stuff that had happened to me, but also what I could see that a lot of the women that were coming to me needed. Now that's a 5-year thing. I didn't just all of a sudden wake up and go from being a corporate person to being the Body Love coach. That took 5 years. And so I think it's a really good demonstration of these things take time. Nothing happens overnight. And even though we might see on our social media all the time that, look at this amazing transformation, this happened overnight, it really doesn't. And so I wanted to give you that sort of background to help you understand that whatever your goals are, not to dissuade you in any way, but for you to understand that it happens over time. And things change over time as well. So just because you want to achieve a certain goal now doesn't mean that in 5 years' time that goal will be the same. And that is okay, because it's your life and you get to decide. So I thought that was a pretty good introduction to setting goals, because can you imagine if back in 2012, 2013, I decided I had to do my health coaching, my personal training, my yoga and my Reiki stuff all in 1 year? Can you imagine what would have happened? I would have completely burnt out, and I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. I probably would have, I don't know, gotten a job at Woolies or something. I'm not sure what I would have done, but do you know what I mean? Like, I had to give myself that time. And so the first thing I want you to learn from me today about goal setting is that give yourself a realistic time frame to get these goals happening. It doesn't all have to happen overnight. And in fact, the journey, as they say, is part of the fun, like learning along the way different things and, letting it integrate and letting it sort of marinate in you and understand how that thing that you're doing now affects the next thing is so powerful. We're so trained to push through and want everything to be done like that. So hopefully you can sort of see how whatever goals you've chosen for yourself this year, that maybe you can give yourself 2 years to do it, or 3 years, instead of just doing it just in 1 year or just this month. So I just wanted to give you some tips now, specific tips that you can use to sort of set goals for yourself now and into the future. So the first one is really to decide how you want to feel, because how we feel is really the most important thing. So for me, when I started my business, I didn't know a lot of this stuff back then. So I didn't follow my own principles back then because I didn't have them. I didn't know them. But back then, all I knew was I didn't want to feel stressed and, caught up in the corporate world anymore. I wanted to feel freedom. I wanted to be able to do what I wanted to do on my own terms. So, although I still feel stressed now, I'm a human being like everybody else. The main thing for me is that freedom. I get to choose what I do with my days most days, and that's what I love the most. So decide what's important to you, decide what your core values are and how you want to feel. Because often we get caught up in what everyone else is doing and we think we should be doing that too. But if it's not aligned to how you want to feel, it's never going to work out, and it's actually going to feel more stressful than anything else. So decide how you want to feel. That's tip number 1. Number 2 is start to brainstorm all the things that you could do or should do or would like to do to achieve that goal. So if you're thinking about fitness, it might be, enrolling in a new class. It might be getting a personal trainer. It might be, watching videos online. It might be setting some time in your week so that you can have time for your exercise. It might be getting your family on board. It might be having a friend that comes with you. It might be trying out 5 different types of, movement or exercise until you find the thing that you want. So just let your mind go crazy and think of all the ways that you could possibly achieve that goal and write them all down. And then just choose 1 or 2 of those things to get started with. And start with the baby steps. Start with the first thing first. Start where you are right now. So as I said back in the day, I could have done personal training and everything, but to be honest, when I left Sydney, I had broken my foot, and I had a broken foot. It wasn't the time for me to do my personal training, so I did my health coaching first. So just have a think about what's going to be the easiest thing for you to do right now, and start with that. You also need to organize some regular rewards for your efforts, because human beings thrive on pleasure. They don't thrive on pain. So often when we're making new choices and making new goals and pursuing those new goals, like me in the beginning, I felt a little bit overwhelmed with everything new I had to learn. So it's important to also, and that can feel, a bit scary and stressful. So it's important to put into your plan some really fun stuff to keep it pleasurable and to really link that fun reward with the effort that you're putting in for your new goal. So think about how you can reward yourself, and it doesn't have to be hard, and it doesn't have to be expensive, and it doesn't have to be, food-based. It can be so many different things. And I think I've got a link. If I can find the link, I might have a blog post about how to reward yourself as well. If I can't remember now. Anyway, if I've got it, I'll put the link into the comments. And then also write down your goals in a place that you can see them and be realistic about it. So the goal I'm trying to achieve right now is this. And, I might be working towards a 3-year goal, or I might be working towards, focus on the 3 months now rather than the whole year if you've got a longer term plan. And then also consider getting some support and accountability. So along the way with my business, I've had business coaches and I've had a health coach more than once for myself. And I've seen other kind of, practitioners and coaches and acupuncturists and all things, because, 44-year-old body, it gets sore sometimes from all the exercise I do. I've got support around me, and often that's the number one thing you need to get through the goals that you want to achieve. So I hope that's helped. If you're feeling a little bit despondent, don't worry, because you've got the whole rest of the year, and in fact you can get your goals done whenever you want. We have this real weird time frame around New Year's resolutions and 12-month periods and all that stuff. Just go back to what feels good, what's the easiest thing for you to do right now, and just start with that. So if you want to learn more about getting motivated and feeling good while you're trying to, achieve some new goals, then go to blueskyvitality.net, and on the front page, right at the top, you'll see you can put your email address in for my motivation handbook. So it's an ebook that you can download for free, and it has lots of tips about how to get motivated, how to stay motivated, and how to look after yourself from a really kind, loving point of view when you're getting onto these new goals that you want to achieve. So I just wanted to say thanks very much for joining me, and I hope that I can see you again soon next week. I'm hoping to do a Facebook Live most weeks, so hopefully I'll catch you then. Thanks a lot. Bye.